So I'd like to call the meeting of the Patricia A. Hannaford Regional Technical School District Board together. It's Wednesday, April 14th. It is 5 p.m. And I'd like to start with introduction of board members. And I'll just go as I see you on my screen. Judd?
Judd Markowski, WIB board member, WIB member from Bridgeport. Easy for me to say.
Mike?
Mike McGrath, Addison Northwest.
Christina?
Hey everybody, Christina Macklin. I'm Addison Northwest School District.
Lorraine?
Lorraine Morse, representing the Addison Central School District.
Kim?
Kim Farnham from New Haven. I'm the community at large member from the Mount Abraham School District over in Bristol.
Nick?
Nick from Shoreham, representing ACSD.
Steve?
Steve Rooney from Starksville, representing the Mount Abraham Unified School District.
And then our administrators, Dana?
Dana Peterson, Superintendent Director, Patricia A. Hannaford Regional Technical School District.
Jay?
Jay Stetzel, Assistant Director, Hannaford Career Center.
Austin?
Austin Haynes, Business Manager, Hannaford Career Center.
Did I miss anyone that was administrator or board? And I believe our one faculty member that's with us is Eric. Eric, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Reed St. John. I'm the Program Director of the Addison Repertory Theater Company.
Thank you. And then Linda?
Linda Barrett Clark.
And
Missy just joined.
Missy?
Missy Beckwith, Workforce Investment Board.
Thank you.
Miss Patrice.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
Moved. Oh, second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as printed. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion's passed. Do we have any comments from our visitor, or are you here for an item later on, Eric?
I'm just here.
Okay. Wasn't sure, so I thought I'd better ask.
Thanks for asking.
All right, well, glad to have you. Dana, correspondence?
Yes, Suzanne, I have two items of correspondence. One is from Don Gmo, who has been one of our stalwart employees in the custodial department, and she's announcing her retirement at the end of the year, and she writes, Dear Dana and school board, please accept this letter of retirement from my full-time employment at the center as of July 1st, 2021. I want to thank you for the opportunity afforded to me to serve the school, the students, the community these last almost 40 years. That was 40. Throughout these years, I have made many friends, seen many changes in programs, and worked with 4 different directors. One thing stands out always: the students come first and are the reason for the center's existence today. You, as the board, along with the fantastic faculty and staff, have made this all possible. Thank you again for allowing me to be part of this. May God bless you and keep you all. Sincerely, Don Gmo, steward of the building.
Thank you. And we will take action on that later.
Okay.
And did you say you had a second piece?
Yes, this just came in, so it wasn't on the agenda because it just came in on Friday. We have been notified of the status of our update on from the NEASC Commission on Public Schools. We had a report due back in January on a special interim report, and Bruce Sievers writes, and I'll just excerpt some of this. The Commission on Public Schools Committee at its meeting on March 8th, reviewed and accepted without any change in membership status the special progress report submitted by the Career Center. The next report will be due as the 2-year report in September of 2021. The committee noted during its deliberations the following accomplishments: creating and implementing a professional development yearly calendar that responds to the needs of faculty, encourage students-led collaborative meetings, and incorporates 4 different professional learning communities as support for teachers' interests. Creating and implementing a teacher evaluation system that focuses on the importance of teacher reflection on practice and their ability to respond to observational feedback and incorporate it into their own learning into a continuous growth model. And creating a clearly defined organizational chart for the school, which clarifies roles and responsibilities. They have also made the following recommendations: continuing to update and refine all of our job descriptions, define the roles and responsibilities of the school leadership team. We're working on that. Wasn't ready at the time that we submitted our report. And design and implement a review cycle for monitoring and ensuring that all job descriptions are maintained and up to date. We sincerely hope that our continuing accreditation relationship with your center assists in improving your school's ability to serve its students and its region with strong and effective technical educational programming. Sincerely, Bruce Sievers. So,
Great.
and we'll
Thank
post
you.
that on the website in the next few days as an addendum to our NEASC accreditation. So thank you
Great.
for allowing me that
Thank
time.
you.
You're welcome.
Next is minutes of March 10th. Have everyone read them? Okay. Dana?
Linda, I have just one question, and it may just be me. Is it a typo, or was the monthly payables supposed to say February 1st, 2021? Oh, Linda, if you're talking, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
You're talking about the heading where it says monthly payables?
Yes,
It should have been the 10th.
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Okay. But I couldn't be sure. Thanks.
Can we have a motion to pull the minutes and to amend them?
Moved.
Second, Nick.
It's been moved and seconded to pull the minutes of March 10th, 2021 from the consent agenda and to amend them to state.
I'm going to interrupt you. You don't need a motion to pull them. You'll need a motion when you change them.
Okay. So may I have a motion to change the minutes to reflect that
No,
the monthly accounts payable were March 10th? Is that what we're saying?
you have to wait till it's action.
Discussion.
No, so we got to move them down to action.
We're
Okay.
putting them in the action agenda.
All
Sorry.
right. Okay, hold that motion.
I'm actually looking at the approval of expenditures should have read March 10th, not February 1st.
Okay, that's what I thought too, Linda. Thank you.
We'll fix that later.
Yep.
Thank you.
Nick, do you have the figures for the
I
monthly
do.
accounts?
I do. So this is up to April 14th, 2021. General fund expenditures of 106,564.95. On the expenditure list, there's an amount for the revolving fund, which has not been approved by directors yet, but we will try and get it approved tomorrow for 14,176.37. No Makery grant payments. and 3 payrolls. The one for March 12th was $85,938.87. The one for March 26th was $86,808.75. And the one for April 9th was $91,813.93. Susan
Thank
and
you.
myself approved everything except for this revolving fund payment, which we will try and get to as soon as possible.
There were a lot of sticky notes with questions on it when I reviewed it, so I didn't sign.
Good for you. I didn't get to see it.
Oh. All right, moving on. First piece under action agenda is to approve the amended minutes of March 10th. We have a motion.
Moved.
Second.
Lorraine.
It's
Second,
been
Nick.
moved by Lorraine and seconded by Nick to approve the amended minutes of Wednesday, March 10th to show that the monthly accounts payable were for March 10th. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion's passed. Pre-tech authorization for ART. Dana, this is you?
I'm going to turn this one over to Jay and Eric.
Okay.
So, Dana, I think Suzanne, did Dana explain this to you a little bit? What the situation
Actually,
is and-
I know, I understand what has to happen, but I actually learned about this from Kathy Deeman, so, and then I followed it up with Dana, so.
Okay. Sorry about that. But basically, our enrollment in the technical theater program for next year is fairly low, and we reached out to our partners at MUHS about the possibility of offering a pre-tech version of the technical theater program. And so we have to go through the process of having that approved by the AOE to change it from a technical level program to a pre-technical program. There's an application that we've filled out and all of that, and one of the pieces is to have approval from the Career Center's Regional Advisory Board. You all are the Regional Advisory Board, whether you knew it or not. So basically, our hope is in doing this that because the time required for a pre-tech program is less, a technical program is 2 hours every day. A pre-tech program can be 80 minutes every other day. So doing that potentially will allow some more Middlebury students to access the program and fit it within their schedule going forward. So that way they can still fit in other classes. They don't have conflicts where they can't dedicate 2 hours every day to the opportunity. We had heard previously that there were some students who were really interested in the technical theater program, but just didn't have space in their schedules. So this is how we're trying to adjust things so that we can make it available. For Virgins and Mount Abe students, they would be able to come, during every other day as a pre-tech program as well. We have one student who's planning to come every day. So we've got some flexibility in terms of what students can do and how much they can participate, but we have to designate it as a pre-tech program if that's the main way that we're offering it. So I don't know if Eric or Dana want to add any other pieces there.
I can offer a little bit and then Eric can chime in just on the overview. Just like we did when we introduced construction technology, there's a process. As Jay has mentioned, the process is much shorter if we're just redesignating a particular program from pre-tech or from technical to pre-technical. We have to get a different code from AOE and it requires an application. And the application just requires that the Regional Advisory Board or you have to take action to approve that change. So that's why it's on the agenda for action for this evening. And Jay has done a good job of giving you the overview of providing greater opportunities for students. That's the reason we're bringing this to you, and it will help to serve as a consistent feeder program for Addison Repertory Theater. So we're thinking that this is a win-win all the way around, and this is a step that we need to take if you all agree that this is in the best interest of the Career Center and the students. So we'll be asking you for action, a motion to accept that later after the discussion. So after
Eric?
the decision. Eric?
Yeah, thank you, Jay and Dana. I think you both covered it pretty well. I believe that this will afford us an opportunity to bring in enough students that it can, down the road, help us increase the numbers if we are able to switch back to the regular technical theater program. And as both mentioned before, it is kind of a win-win situation. There is a demand at Middlebury High School, and we can incorporate students from Mount Abe, from Virgins as well into the class. So thank you.
So one question that I have, and Nick, I'll get you, is doing the pre-tech, does that, and I think I already know the answer, but I just want to ask it. If we do pre-tech for ART, does that mean then that our upper level tech program disappears for a while? Or can we do both, pre-tech like in the morning and tech in the afternoon or whatever?
Yeah, so because, yeah, actually, I was just, Suzanne, we're thinking right along the same lines here. I was about to mention that. The performance part of ART will remain a technical program. It's just the technical theater portion of ART that we're looking to switch to a pre-tech program. So that can happen. What we can't do is we can't have both a pre-tech and a technical program for the technical theater part of ART, if that makes sense. We have to either designate it as pre-tech or technical program. Does that
We
make
do
sense?
have the flexibility of offering it for at least 80 minutes, or it could be up to 2 hours. So the amount of time that a student could access that can be flexible. So what we lose is the designation as a technical program itself, but it falls within the cluster, the arts cluster, as a pre-tech feeder program that could feed even design and illustration if we wanted it to, in terms of creativity, and it can feed the performance area of ART. So once again, I'll say it's a win-win-win all the way around, because the only thing that we lose is the designation. If we were to decide in a couple of years that there are a lot of students that really want to take it as a technical program, as upper level students, we would have to go through that reauthorization process and come back and ask you to authorize that again. But once again, because it already exists, that's an easier process than if we had to start it from scratch.
So could one of you tell us what the content of the pre-tech would be briefly in 2 minutes? What would it cover?
Certainly. Would you like me to take this? Yeah, okay. So the content for the pre-tech program would be very much the same as the current technical theater program. This is only touches upon the AM program that we have at the Career Center, which is the technical theater program. So it would touch upon costumes, set design, lighting design, sound design, makeup, and props, just as the technical theater program does now. It's just less exposure time-wise for the students at the Career Center. We do have, I know of one student right now who signed up for the full technical theater program. She would still be able to be there for the full 2 hours, but on her transcript, it would appear as a pre-tech program.
And would there be any production or performance?
Yes, sir. It would be just the same as it is this year. I lose time with the students, but we would be covering the same material and working toward the same productions that we do this year. It doesn't affect the afternoon, the PM performance class at all. It's just that morning class. So.
Okay, great.
And from a scheduling perspective, because it would alternate days, except for the one student would take it every day, you could potentially provide access to a larger number of students, because some might come on one day and some might come on the other day. Is that correct, Eric and Jay?
I believe that's the way that it is set up. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
And our hope with that is that, again, Middlebury students, or even Virgins or Mount Abe students for that matter, if it works better for them to come on an even day in the morning or during block 3 or 4, it gives them a little more flexibility in terms of their schedules at their high schools. So anytime we can do something like that, it prevents those schedule conflicts that create situations where students have to choose the career center versus, something at their home high school.
It also provides an opportunity for students to do 2 pre-tech offerings in complementary days, such as STEM and ART technical. So it would fit in, or plant and animal science. So it gives a little bit more flexibility to students at our partner schools to be able to select 2 pre-tech offerings.
Great. Is there any other questions before I accept a motion to approve? May I have a motion from the board to approve applying for a pre-tech authorization for ART?
Moved.
Moved by
Second,
Lorraine
Judd.
and a second by Judd.
Suzanne,
Yes.
can we just clarify the motion to be specific that it's the technical theater program for ART?
So
'Cause
pre-tech.
again, it's not impacting the performance part. That one's staying as a technical program.
Okay. So I said the pre-tech authorization for ART. So you want it to say pre-tech theater?
Sorry, it's tough because it's the technical theater program of ART. So it's going to be a pre-tech technical theater offering. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Lorraine, do you want
Yes.
to motion?
Yes, I move that we approve making the technical theater program a pre-tech program for next year.
Pre-tech technical. And I still second that.
All
Judd.
right. It's been moved and seconded to do the application for a pre-tech technical theater ART program for next year.
Thank you all.
Is there any further discussion? Don't ask me to repeat that motion again. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion's passed.
Linda,
Yes.
if you get those to me soon, I will read them to make sure that it says the right thing. Just because it was so complicated.
Well, when she said that, I was about to ask her to repeat it, but I won't ask her.
Yeah, that's okay. Send it to me. I'll give you the language.
We'll get it.
So it's a pre-tech technical theater authorization for ART.
Right, so I have the motion as, a motion was to approve the authorization, to approve authorizing an application to change the tech theater program to a pre-tech technical program. Okay, thank you.
Suzanne, we're 10 minutes behind, just so you know.
All right, thank you. Policy 2.3 financial condition, I'm going to say is Austin.
That is correct. And Lorraine, I will play some catch up here. So this is a quarterly report we looked at back in January. It's one of the more straightforward reports we look at from a financial perspective. And I'll just go through it really quickly here. So it reads, with respect to the actual ongoing financial condition and activities, the superintendent shall not cause or allow the development of financial jeopardy or material deviation of actual expenditures from board priorities established in our budgets. Further, without limiting the scope of the foregoing by this enumeration, the superintendent shall not. Number one, expend more funds than we have received in this fiscal year to date, unless the debt guideline is met. And as of March 31st, we've expended just over $2,456,000, which is approximately about 65% of our approved budget. And then taking into account encumbrances of 882,000 and change, as well. When we take into account encumbrances on top of our actual spend, there remains about $525,000 in expenditures. Number two reads, incurred debts in amount greater than can be repaid by certain otherwise unencumbered revenues within 60 days. We haven't had any debt activity other than our bond payments, which fall outside of this reporting period. Use any long-term reserves other than those expressed in item 7 below. As it pertains to the BERF, the actual fund in the BERF account was about $65,492, and then accounting for anticipated revenue and expenses, the projected BERF fund is about $69,292. Number 4 is conduct interfund shifting in amounts greater than can be restored to a condition of discrete fund balances by certain otherwise unencumbered revenues within 45 days. So year to date, we have transferred about $75,500 between the general fund and the health reserve fund, and that's to cover HRA expenses. At the start of the year, we also transferred another $6,400 to cover HSA funding for calendar year 21. Failed to settle payroll debts in a timely manner. There's nothing to report there. Allow tax payments or other government ordered payments or filings to be overdue or inaccurately filed. Nothing to report there. Make a single purchase or commitment of greater than $5,000 in the building and equipment reserve fund. No activity there. We have not acquired or encumbered or disposed of any real property. And the last item is fail to aggressively pursue receivables after a reasonable grace period. So the only point to note there is we are in the process of requisitioning some grant funding through the CARES Act. We have received to date on March 15th, all of our coronavirus relief fund revenues. That was about $170,000. And in the next couple of weeks, we will be sending out a requisition on our gear grant for any supplies and equipment we have purchased for that grant. The last point to note is, and this is spilling over into April, but we are expecting to receive our third Ed Fund payment for this fiscal year in the next couple of weeks. And that's all I got.
Are there any questions for Austin? Seeing no hands raised and the typical culprits are busy writing or something, we'll move to take a motion to approve policy 2.3 financial conditions.
Move to approve policy financial position 2.3, policy 2.3 by Judd.
Second, Lorraine.
Been moved and seconded to accept policy 2.3 financial conditions. Is there any discussion? Seeing no hands raised, all in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion's passed. Code of ethics. All that's really required on this one is in your board pack, you were all sent a piece of paper that is the code of ethics policy, which we typically do in March. We didn't get to it in March. We forgot to put it on our agenda. So please read it, sign it, scan it if you can, and send it back to Dana at the Career Center, and he'll put it in the folder. If you can't scan it, then if you wouldn't mind just either dropping it by the Career Center or put it in the mail to the Career Center so that that is taken care of. Does anybody have any questions on that piece? Dana, did you want to say something? You look like you were
Some
ready.
people have
to say
already
something.
started sending them in, and Patrice is capturing them. So thanks very much for everybody who's been proactive. We appreciate it.
Great.
Do we send them to Patrice?
Send them to Patrice. Yep.
Okay.
You could CC me if you like, but Patrice is
Okay.
the one that I will forward them to anyway.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You can also take a picture of it.
That's true.
That
All
works.
right. Are we all set on that? Okay, our last piece on the action agenda is to accept the retirement of Don Gmo as of July 1st, with thanks and deep gratitude for her basically 40 years of wonderful service to not only our students, but to the Career Center. And wish her well as she goes into retirement, and a very healthy retirement as she moves on, and we will miss her. You don't find many employees that stick around for that length of time, and you lose a wealth of knowledge when someone with those many years of service decides to say, I'm done, I'm going to spend time on me, and maybe with grandchildren or whatever. So it's bittersweet when they leave, but it's also nice that they acknowledge and say that they want to do something else. So may I have a motion to accept the retirement of Don Gmo, please? Kim, want to second it, Lorraine?
I will second it with many thanks to Don.
It's been moved and seconded to accept staff retirement of Don Gmo with many, many, many thanks for her 40 years of service. Is there any further discussion or anything anybody else wants to say? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. Please raise your hand and say aye if you approve.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion's passed. All right, we are into informational agenda. And everyone received the reports in the board pack? Does anyone have any questions on any of the reports that were submitted? Lorraine?
Mine isn't a question, it's just a comment, a thank you to Dana and to the Career Center. I am the president of the Midsummer Board, and Dana mentioned in the report that we are again working with the Hannaford Career Center. Our campers look forward to that so much, and we are so appreciative of the Career Center for allowing us to be involved with them in the summer. So I just wanted to thank Dana and the whole Career Center.
Thanks, Lorraine. And I have to pass those thanks along to John Curler and Devin Karpak, who worked tirelessly to help make sure that all of the details get worked out for this great partnership. So it's truly a pleasure, and we enjoy working with the Midsummer folks. So thanks, Lorraine.
Do you know, was that your hand going up, or were you just? No? Okay. Does anybody else have any questions or thank yous, or, I mean, the reports as usual are great. And they're
I guess I'll just add that they are great. It really helps us understand what's going on at the Career Center, and I really appreciate the detail. So thank you.
I did
want to
pack.
say, Nick, I want to say thank you for stepping up and being chair of the Budget and Policy Committee.
Yeah, that was a great initiative since I wasn't there. But the bad news is we're going to do them in person. I did have one question for Dana, since nobody else has it. So on the recovery planning, have you formulated any initial plans on that yet? for the Career Center?
So there are a variety of things. Our planning is not going to have to be quite as extensive as others because we have been in person for 80% of our time this year, but we do have a small group that is working on that. And we're going to be getting some guidance for career and technical centers specifically, and that will be coming out at the end of the month. So I'll be able to report or update you on what specifically we're looking at. But right now, I can tell you that we're going to try to make sure that we're working closely with our partners to support all of the students that may be struggling with the academic components of their program, whether it's at our partner schools or whether it's at the Career Center. And that's been our focus since the beginning of this year. We knew that we were going to have more work to do on that. And we are coordinating very closely with them. They have preliminary plans that are due with a formalized structure tomorrow, I believe, and with a June 1 more fully drafted plan. So we'll be working to incorporate some of those ideas into our planning as well. But the focus will be on making sure that students who want to take career and technical center programming can, one, get here to join us, and two, that they will be supported in a way that helps them to be able to access the programming successfully. And that's going to be closer coordination, collaboration with our partners and their support system network. We have, each school has a person in charge of student supports and student services, and there'll be a meeting later on, I think in this month or maybe in the beginning of May, for coordinating with other schools around the supports. I also have 2 members of the Career Center that will be joining me in a regional-wide focus on those plans, including curriculum coordinators and special ed directors, as we look at that at the end of April and into May. And the 2 members that will be joining me are Wendy Pratt from a curriculum standpoint and Mike Adaman from our special needs section. So we've got things moving forward, but I will be happy to give you a more detailed overview of our plan when it gets fleshed out.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions or thoughts or?
I did
Steve?
pass along Jay's newsletter to our board and got several compliments back. So people thought that was a very encouraging communications tool.
Thank you for passing that along, Steve.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Any other questions, comments, concerns, accolades? Okay.
Suzanne, I'd just like to put in a plug for Austin and all the work that he's done in pulling our audit together this year and making sure that you would be able to review those finalized pages. And his report was pretty thorough. So if you have any questions, as he's noted, feel free to reach out and we can give you a full copy of the audit. But it doesn't necessarily make sense unless somebody requests it for having I think it's about 100-page audit. So we'll print them if you'd like, or if you'd like a digital copy, we can also get you one of those. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And Kim is showing off her prowess in the Zoom world. She was clapping for you, Austin.
Thank you.
So not seeing any other hands raised or anything, is there anything else under other related to board operation that people would like to bring up tonight? Okay, everyone's pretty quiet. Mike McGrath, would you like to do policy 4.1 governing style for us?
Sure. I think we did very well tonight. So Lorraine put us right on time. Might even be early. Everybody raise your hand, good conversation. Not a lot to discuss tonight as much as other nights, so it looks like we might be out of here reasonable, hopefully. All good.
Great. Thank you very much, Mike. Dana, are we using a different link for executive session tonight, or are you just moving us into a different room?
I saw a link earlier.
I can send out another link to the board for executive session.
Okay.
Do you need anybody besides me in executive session?
No, just you.
Okay, so give me a moment and I will send out the link to board members. And
Okay.
if you would like to take a 5-minute break so that people can do a bio break, I'll make sure that everybody gets the link. And I don't know, Suzanne, if there's any action to be taken when we come out of executive session. Is there anything that you're thinking about?
No, there isn't.
Can't hear.
No, I don't think there's any action to be taken.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, and I'll be right back with you then.
Okay.
Thanks.
So, what about if we take a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of negotiations and personnel? And we can be in executive session like at 5:46. That will allow us to leave this meeting, do what Dana suggested, and then come back into the other one.
I would move that.
All
For
right,
a
you moved
second.
in? Did I hear a second?
I'll second. Nick?
Nick seconded to, it's been moved and seconded to go executive session for the purpose of negotiations and personnel. Anybody want to discuss it? All right, all in favor, raise your hands. Any opposed?
No.
All right, motion passed. I will see you all in Dana's executive session link in about 5 minutes.